Good afternoon, friends. Today is June 28th. I am recording this for the July 1st, Monday, the July 1st. First is let's start looking at some things, what's going on in the market. I think before I go started, I wanted to show you something which I've been building for a while. Let's see this one. This is called a trading app. I'm sure if you have been playing in 9.1 update 20 or even before, I think there are trading apps. Trading apps are something like a new tools which you can use it in TradeStation. Here is a new trading app. What it does is it actually organizes the earnings dates into a calendar. So basically, what we do is we get the data from NP earnings DLL, and then we use that data on your machine itself. So there's no separate login to somewhere else to get this information. So what it does is it takes all the earnings dates and it organizes into chart itself. Like for example, today is the June 28th, and we had only one stock. And this is something which you have already collected already. That means we had today only one stock in my portfolio had a BlackBerry had earnings today. But if you look at the on 19th, we had like a FedEx, Micron, and Red Hat. And then you could jump to the next date. Let's say suppose July, and then you will see all the stocks. These are all you can select it your own list of stocks, and then it'll organize it into that, and you could go backwards and forwards and then see these stocks pretty neatly organized it into that. And I'll be releasing this trading app to the trading community pretty soon. Now let's go back to the stocks. Let's just start off looking at what else is going on. This week has been a pretty good week, still volatile compared to the last 2 weeks, what we have seen. So if you guys look at what's going on with this VIX, this is what actually I've been monitoring quite closely. VIX has a inverse head and shoulder pattern, and it broke out of its neckline, and then it was moving higher. So my targets on VIX is about 25. So right now it's actually trading back below the neckline, and that's the reason this week we have seen like a kind of a positive gains. But in the last 2 weeks, we had seen quite a bit of sell-off in many stocks. Quite a few of them are actually incredibly overbought, and now it's came back. So what else is going on in the market? Let's just start looking at let's see if I can look at spiders. I think I'm just going to move this somewhere else here. So what else is going on is if you look at this particular trend, this is not an ABC, something which we can automatically trade. But what's happening is this retracement is only 38%, which is like which is a pullback rather than actually an ABC setup itself. So here what's going on is basically we had a sell-off all the way to 155. So for the past 2 weeks, I was pretty much counting on that it's going to come down all the way to 151 or even further. Like maybe I'm thinking like somewhere about 147, 48, and that one was my target. So because of that, I completely avoided even taking any trades, and I've taken few this week, but this itself is just a pullback in my way, and then it came down to 38%. So what I'm looking for it right now is I wanted it to trade about this 162.58 and close above it. Then I would think that maybe it will probably move up higher and go even higher. But I am not a big fan of a third and fourth pullbacks. Basically, let's say suppose if you look at this trend which started in October of 2012, we had like a 1, 2, 3, and fourth pullback, and this is the fourth pullback, and fourth pullbacks usually are not quite favorable to continue. Basically they actually fizzle out and then they come back and fall further down. So that's what I'm hoping, because I was pretty confident on the second and third pullbacks. Even third pullback I was a little bit wobbly, but definitely but on the fourth pullback, and now I'm not so confident that this is actually a pullback, and because of that reason I'm just going to wait and see how it's going to pan out. But I do have few stocks which I was confident in taking trades into it, and so that's what we'll talk about it. Then let's look at what's going on with gold. God, this is amazing. Um, if you guys look at it, and I've been posting this gold for quite some time. Let me take off one of them from here. There. So here, there was a rectangle channel, and then I was targeting between about 1230. I believe it's 1230 to 1250. I think that was my targets on gold, but absolutely the bottom fell off in gold, and then now it's even trading even much lower. And I am not going to take any kind of a trade setup into gold, because it's absolutely not worth it, and I won't touch it. I guess I know today it went up quite a bit. I think about 20 bucks. I believe. I think $22. So because of that reason, I guess we have seen even GLD up, silver also up, but I don't think it's actually a trade setup for me to even think about it. Now let's look at what else is going on, and look at Apple. Man, this is another disaster stock, I guess. Um, this is the one which, of course, we had a head and shoulder pattern, and then recently it was forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and that pattern is kind of invalidated once price started trading below this level. 418. First of all, the inverse head and shoulder pattern itself is never materialized because it's never traded above 465 for us to take a trade. But once it started trading below this 418, I wouldn't call that as a failure because it's never actually materialized and then to tend to fail it. But here in this case, it's actually the pattern itself kind of invalidated, and now it's kind of a forming what we think is it may be kind of a Gartley kind of a pattern. Let's see if I can draw. Let's see. There is this. There's a pen here, or maybe arrows. Let's see. So here is the one. What we have is we may be seeing some type of a um, a kind of a Gartley formation here. I'm still not excited about Apple, so I'm not going to take any trade, but I thought that I would show you that. And then let's just remove this. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is the Amgen. Amgen has a, oops, I think the pattern probably is not set up. Yes, let's take this. Yes, there. Here is the one. And Amgen has an ABC setup right now and just started trading above the EL level, and I think I know the targets would be something like $114 to $120, and the earnings on that, this is on July 25th. Next one is Chipotle. I've been posting about Chipotle for quite some time, and I wanted to show you that this is the one which I was looking at it. Chipotle has an inverse head and shoulder pattern which actually completed. It's 100% of its range, which is about $380. And then since then, it's actually going on the sideways. And so now, even now, I think once it reached that target, and my first thinking was that it's going to actually reverse all. It will go back to like this about $330 range. Right now, it's still in that price. So I traded Chipotle before, but I do not have a position. The only way I will trade back this is through the long side, and that too if it trades above the $380. But until then, I won't take the trade. Now is the next one is the Cisco. Cisco has, of course, this beautiful ABC bullish pattern, which actually materialized quite a bit. But we also have some kind of a butterfly pattern here, which is working on it, and so it is now at a pretty critical level of it. This $24. These patterns doesn't automatically means that these are sells. It needs to exhibit some type of a reversal, which we have not seen it in Cisco yet. So I won't be shorting Cisco anytime soon. Next is the Expedia. Expedia is quite interesting because once it fell below the 200 period moving average, I thought that it's going to come back much further down and fill some of these gaps. But now it's actually kind of reversing and it's moving up. So I guess in this leg, I would think the target may be between $65 and $68. But we also have in July its earnings on July 25th. FedEx is the one which I've been trading it. In fact, it did, right after its earnings, it went up quite a bit, and then it's actually fell and came back to its EL level. Luckily, I have options on FedEx, so I'm going to be holding on to it. My targets is about $105. 105 to 110 is actually the target, but I have 105 calls on FedEx. Next is the FXI, which is the this is the China 25 I wanted to show is this is the a head and shoulder pattern which is forming in FXI, and the targets on this is right now, of course, the first target is about 31.42, and if you guys look at it, and that's exactly what happened there. And then the next is it's going to come down all the way to this. I'm thinking that it will come down to this 28.93 $29 price range. Next is Garmin. Um, I'm not a big fan of a Garmin stock itself. I'm still not sure why anybody should buy this, because there are so many free GPSs on phone. But seems like they're doing business, and that's the reason, of course, it fell quite a bit. But let me actually pick up this stock here. Yes, this has got an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is forming in the past 3-4 days, a pretty good price action, and that's the reason it's actually moving up. This is also an ABC bullish pattern. Probably I would think this is actually a perfect bullish ABC bullish pattern too. So I'll be waiting for it to actually trigger anything, but I do not have a position in Garmin. Next is the JDSU. And this one I've been holding on to this my position for a while. I think my targets is, if I'm not wrong, I have the $16 calls. So basically here, it's been fluttering for a while, and in the last few days there's pretty good action, but of course, market volatility is also playing quite a bit of it. So I guess I'm expecting it to reach this $16 price range. The other one is Nordstrom. I think I might have posted this in the past. Nordstrom also doing pretty well in an ABC pattern, and it did reach its target of 61.43, but now it's actually creeping it back. So I'm thinking that it would probably move even much higher than $61. Next is Monster. I do not have a position in Monster. Quite controversial stock. They were recently sued again. So I guess I'm going to probably stay away from this kind of stocks. But I thought I would show you is an ABC bullish pattern, but it also has a one of the Gartleys pattern which is still forming. So this means the formation of it's still in the retracement mode. If the things materialize, it could probably go much higher, but I would not be participating in this stock. Next one is Mark. Mark has been significant in the last a few weeks. They've really done well. So is Pfizer. Pfizer is also kind of showing its strength, and I believe both of them are pretty strong stocks to move up. Next one is Blue Nile. Blue Nile is in the last after this, the 2 weeks of sell-off, but it rallied up quite a bit of most of April and May. Actually, most of April and June, April to June, and then now it's coming down, and I think it bounced off of this 200 period moving average, and I still think that this may have a lot more to go and reach up to this $42 price range. Next one is Silicon Lab. This is the one which I have traded in the past, and now do not have a position. But today I was monitoring it. Basically, it's once it came back and retested this EL level, and it's trying to bounce back. So now I'm thinking that it probably will move up, and their earnings are due on July 24th. Next one is a Stratasys. This is a 3D company, which is probably one of the better 3D companies. This one, and also another one is the 3D Systems. These two are the ones which I have it as a 3D company that led true 3D companies. So the Stratasys is the one which is I'm monitoring right now, and I think this will move up to much higher level, and my targets is between about $98 to $110, kind of a $99 to $110 price range. The next one is Teva. Teva, I just took a position today. I'm hoping that this is actually pretty good setup on ABC, and this is probably will my targets on this is between $41 and $42, and that's what probably it would move up. It could go even much higher because it had a lot lot more broader base, and then it's probably setting up a couple of symmetric triangles, kind of a patterns too. But at this point, and then I took a small position into Teva. That's it, guys, at this point, and I'll be working on this trading apps. This is my first of a trading app, which is called a earnings calendar, and it is a true calendar. So that's what I'll be releasing this pretty soon. Let's see here. Then there's a couple of small features I wanted to add it where you could query a stock and then jump to that stock date directly from this form itself. So this is something like which you can have it on TradeStation, one of the trading apps window, like one of your workspaces. Keep it open so that way when you come in the morning to see it, or then you would know what stocks have earnings news coming up on that day or that week, kind of thing. Anyway, that's all is my presentation. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.